Welcome into another edition of Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura, joined as always by Browns living legend, Joe Thomas. And we've got a big show for you today. We've got the best of mic'd up Joel Bitonio in the player spotlight, as well as we go into the film room, as we always like to do, and break down some of the big plays in the game against the Jets. But we start the show, as we do each and every week, by bringing in the head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, for this week's game review presented by Serpentini Chevrolet. And Coach, before we even get to what happened on Saturday, let's just talk about that crazy 24 hours that you guys went through. Have you ever experienced anything like that in football? And how did you guys try to deal with such late week adversity?
Yeah, I don't think I've experienced that specifically, but there's been a lot of uncertainty at moments in this season. So that's nothing new. And dealing with guys that are unavailable, whether injury or illness, that's nothing new. So I think we tried to just work through it as best we can and get the guys ready to play. And I think we had the guys ready to play. I think that they were definitely prepared.
Coach, you lost your top four receivers, probably 24 hours out from the game, and the tight ends had to play a much bigger role in the passing game. How much were your tight ends being put in a position that normally has a receiver? And what are the challenges for a guy having to do something like that he's totally unaccustomed to playing?
Yeah, Joe, I think there were a bunch of moments where we pivoted to 12 personnel where it would have been 11 personnel, but again, that's something that those plays are always backed up with 12. So we may have had Jarvis in a spot that became Harrison Bryant, but Harrison, the player that he is, understands that he's the understudy on a lot of those type of plays. So he knew what he had to do. We adjusted a few things from 11 to 12 that were, reps that he hadn't gotten, but I think he's a very diligent student of this game, so he was prepared.
Coach, we have a fan question for you from NASCAR fan 88421032. That's a mouthful there. He says, how do you move past the chaos from COVID-19 this past week and focus on going 1-0 in week 17?
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't feel like chaos. I think the coaches and the players understand that there's uncertainty in this season. That's just what is going on. And that's been true all the way back since we got together virtually in April. The guys understand that things can be touch and go, and sometimes we adjust the schedule. Sometimes we move a practice. Sometimes we're without a guy that we thought we were going to have. That's really nothing new. We've been living that. So just like what's going on now, got to have a plan and continue to focus on getting our work done. The work may be different. It may be more virtual, or it may be moved back, move a practice back, but that's just the nature of the beast.
It certainly is, but here you are, win, and you are in, controlling your own destiny this Sunday, FirstEnergy Stadium against the Steelers, and you will join us later in the program to talk about that big matchup. When we come back on Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy, some of the best mic'd up moments from 2020, so stay tuned.
Bring color to life with the very best paint, only at your Sherwin-Williams store.
For as long as I can remember, I watched the sunrise and I've watched the sunset, fueling my drive, feeding the fire within. Embrace it, harness it.
It's time to let the sun fuel your life. It's time to own your power.
Get your ice cold Bud Light. Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you may not be able to come to the game this season, our proud partners at Bud Light can always bring a piece of the game to you. Ice cold Bud Light.
I'll take one.
Oh, right here. Bud Light. Ice cold Bud Light.
Time to start it up, America. You've got a lot of joy to make. So we're kicking off the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event because you've got turkeys to fry and thanks to give. It's our thing. To help you do it right, we're giving you 90 days payment deferment and 1,000 trade assist cash on the built Ford Tough F-150 and Ford Ranger. That's on top of what your eligible trade is worth. That'll make a lot of joy this holiday. Ford, built for the holidays.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Welcome back to Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura and the great Joe Thomas. And Joe, we've had a lot of fun going through the mic'd ups this year. I've never been mic'd up. Well, I guess I have to be doing a show like this, for example, but never while trying to do something where I wasn't supposed to be mic'd up, like playing a game. What's it like for a player when you were the one that they put the mic on?
Well, you wanted to make sure that everybody knew the 5-0 was listening to every word that was being said on the sideline and out there on the field. So you had to tell your line mates, make sure that they didn't say anything that they shouldn't say. But the best mic'd up always happened after you forgot you were mic'd up and you started talking freely and you started talking trash to the other team. And then the refs got in there a little bit. So those were always my favorite mic'd up, was those player talking trash to another player when the ref swoops in and has a few interesting comments to add.
Well, let's take a look at the best of the 2020 Cleveland Browns mic'd up, presented by Ruoff Mortgage.
Great day to be great. Great day to be great.
Hey, hold on. Hey. Hold on. Come on. You're going to be mighty. Carl, if I catch you in the club dancing like that right now, bro. You mic'd up? I don't know why. Quit playing! Quit playing! They got his oh! Oh! He made it! He made it! They start yelling and it starts snowing harder. Don't be taking Keep dragging him. Keep dragging him. Keep going. Let's go. Let's go. Office. Now I gotta do Larry like that. For a robbery. I robbed you? A robbery. I had a great rush.
Shoot, 1 minute it's sunny, 1 minute it's snowing, next minute it's raining, and then the next is hailing. Boy, we done seen 5 different seasons today.
Make some noise, dog pound! Make some noise, dog pound! Video intros, weak as me. I don't know why they don't use yours. They know my energy. My be loud. That loud. Look at that. Why? That's how you do an intro. Look at this. The muffin on the side. The what? The muffin. The muffin. The cushion. You know, the muffin man. Double TV on film. That lives on Drury Lane. The muffin man. The muffin man.
You love to see that. A lot of fun there. All right, Joe, I got to ask you, if we did a best of Joe Thomas mic'd up, what would have been your favorite clip from your experience when they decided, the 5-0, as you said, decided to put the mic on you?
You know, I didn't talk a whole lot when I was out on the field. I was always just trying to focus on my task at hand. But there was one time where I got a little bit heated with a Jacksonville Jaguar defensive lineman, and he was complaining about holding like all defensive linemen do. And I just was pointing on the field going, I don't see any flags out here. And I think that was probably my favorite moment. It seemed like that was one that got a lot of play on NFL films.
Did the referees enjoy that you were saying, look, they're the authority and they've said there is no holding. So what are you crying about?
They liked that I submitted to authority in that situation and told them there was no laws broken. As you can see, there is no hankies on the field.
That's right. No flags, nothing like no flags, a big pancake block to bring the energy, just like the best fans in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns fans. And our best fan energy winner this week is Cody Yanashevsky. Cody tweeted at the Browns using the hashtag #BestFanEnergy to tell us why he has the best fan energy. And because of that, he will be in the stadium for the showdown with the Steelers, win and go to the playoffs. Cody, bring the pain. And when we return, a man who brings the pain to opposing interior defensive linemen, Joel Bitonio. We will hear from him as he gets ready for this big game against the Steelers. It's all coming up when Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy, returns.
Get your ice cold Bud Light. Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you may not be able to come to the game this season, our proud partners at Bud Light can always bring a piece of the game to you. Ice cold Bud Light.
I'll take one.
Oh, right here. Bud Light. Ice cold Bud Light. In 2013, we turned the lights on to FirstEnergy Stadium. Together, we've seen good energy come from powerful runs.
Touchdown, Nick Chubb! He's done it again!
Witnessed electrifying sacks.
Miles Garrett got him!
But the best energy comes from Cleveland Browns fans, who truly light up our communities. From our home to your home, no matter where you watch the game, we'll be there bringing good energy to power the best fans in Northeast Ohio.
Our students don't just read books or write papers. They forge new paths and new ideas. At LECOM, we build medical professionals who excel. We create the foundation of a better world. We seek new ways to aid others. We lead the next generation. We guide the future of medicine. At LECOM, we make doctors.
The door to a car you've been saving for. The door to a personal loan that feels genuinely personal. The door to a bedroom for each of your teenagers. The door to a new employee who's also your neighbor. And the door to a happy and full life for you and everyone you know. This year, KeyBank has already opened over 170,000 doors, helping people get from where they were to where they wanted to be. KeyBank.
Welcome back to Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura, and of course, the incomparable Joe Thomas. And Joe, you know a little bit about offensive line play. And I remember in the year 2014, the Browns in the early second round, they selected a man who also played tackle in college, who'd become your buddy, your right-hand man, literally, as the Browns left guard of the present and future, Joel Bitonio. What was it like with rookie Joel and seeing his evolution now, Pro Bowler year after year?
Yeah, it's so fun seeing guys that came in, and I was able to kind of guide them through their rookie season and seeing all the success that they're having now. Joel was a great rookie. He was a guy that came in wide-eyed with his mouth shut and his ears open, which is exactly the type of rookie you want, a guy that's just soaking in all the information that you give him, and they're going out on the field and they're performing pretty well as a rookie, just like Joel did.
He was drafted to play in a very similar scheme in 2014, and now it's back, and he's heading to the Pro Bowl. But more importantly, he sits down with our Andrew Gribble in this week's Player Spotlight presented by Electronic Merchant Systems.
All right, we're joined now by Browns veteran offensive lineman Joel Bitonio. And Joel, you looking ahead to Week 17, a win and in scenario against the Steelers. What does it all mean for this team to have what it wants on the line in such a big game?
Yeah, you know, the NFL is a week-to-week business, but it kind of accumulates here at the, Week 17 against the Steelers, and you win, you get in the playoffs. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, more ups and downs, but it all comes down to, playing one more game, and all that hard work and resilience early in the year is down to one game. We gotta handle our business and come out and, get a win.
You guys have had 5 losses this season. Every single time you've come back with a pretty convincing win. What is it about this team that has kind of shown the ability to bounce back, and how important will that be on Sunday?
Yeah, it's about resilience. Owning our mistakes, looking at the film, difficultly and being like, hey, what did we do in this game that was wrong? Getting coached up from it and kind of understanding what we need to do to better perform in the next game. And, it's all group effort. Everybody takes, their own accountability from it and tries to grow from it.
How much of a boost can it give this team to get some of these guys back on the roster after dealing with so much adversity this past week against the Jets?
Yeah, it would be huge. We don't know where we're at in the COVID protocols, but if we can get, a few guys back, you got 5 or 6 guys on offense that are big contributors that weren't in the game, that can really help your performance, and Jarvis, Higg, DPJ, all those guys are just big threats for us, and they kind of open things up for the run game and everything like that. Obviously, we have to execute better as a whole, but it'd be big if we can get those guys back.
And lastly, you guys have preached the 1-0 mentality all season. We'll go 1-0 every week. Does it change at all this week going into a playoff implications game? Does it help you guys because you've handled every game like this?
I mean, it's the definition of 1-0 now, right? Like, you got to win. You got to win to keep playing. That's what it's come down to. And the playoffs start a week early for us, so that's how we're looking at it right now. But nothing's too big. It's big because it's our next game, and it's important because we need a win to go to the playoffs. But we're ready to attack it and take on the week.
Well, Joel, thank you so much, and good luck on Sunday against the Steelers.
Now, a lot was made about the Browns' struggles on the ground against the Jets, and Joel Bitonio noted in the postgame they played a jam front. And Joe, you and I talked about that on Cleveland Browns Daily and the troubles it presents. So we're going to take a look at what that jam front looks like, how it impacted the Browns, but also we'll take a look at some Browns rushing success in this week's play breakdown presented by Microsoft Surface. But we start right here, Joe, with the jam front from the Jets, both defensive ends in that 3 technique, the nose tackle and a 0, covering up your 3 interior offensive linemen.
Yeah, a jam front just means that you've got a nose guard and you've got 2 defensive ends that are covering up both guards. And so what essentially you have is you lose your double teams that you normally have on the inside. And so you're getting a lot of one-on-one blocking situations, which makes it obviously a little bit more difficult versus when you have the double team opportunities. From the beginning, your right guard and your right tackle get pushed into the backfield a little bit, and they allow penetration. And we've talked about the importance of on the outside zone plays, being able to get your running back to the line of scrimmage before he has to make a cut. And what happens here is because of that penetration early on, Nick Chubb is forced to chop his feet. He slows down a little bit, and that messes up the timing of the play. And as soon as he has to chop his feet, it gives the defense an opportunity to swarm and to close in on Nick Chubb. And then on the backside, because of the jam front being a little bit different, there's some communication issues, and the communication of who you're blocking was not clear to the backside of the Browns offensive line, because you see J.C. Tretter, the center, and the fullback going and blocking the same player and leaving the nose guard unblocked.
And one of the reasons the Jets felt very comfortable employing this jam front and basically saying, okay, you got to beat us throwing the ball outside, is the Browns were without their not only first string, but second string wide receivers in this game. So that was part of the problem there against Jets. Now let's look at some of the success, because this Browns team, they rallied down 20-3 in the second half, showed no quit. They were able to get the ball into the end zone twice and almost had a chance to do it 3 times. Let's take a look at one of those touchdowns now, the 4-yarder from Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, here's just an outside zone to the weak side. And the Browns do a much better job communicating who they're supposed to be blocking. They do a much better job keeping the line of scrimmage clean. That's what we talk about when you're keeping the defensive linemen from being able to penetrate into your backfield. You're keeping them on the original line of scrimmage. It allows your running back to get some speed, to get up into the line of scrimmage with his feet before he has to make his cut, which makes the angles difficult for everybody on defense. Kendall Lamb does a great job hooking his player, getting his hat to the outside, forcing that hole open for Kareem Hunt to be able to press up into the hole. Joel Bitonio does a great job hooking his player and giving Kareem Hunt the hole and the ability to put up into the line of scrimmage to get into that hole. Kendall Lamb does a great job forcing that hole open. J.C. Tretter does a fantastic job getting his hat up onto the linebacker and pushing that linebacker sideways and just giving enough of a block to be able to get Kareem Hunt into the end zone.
And so you can see 2 plays we showed you there. 2 good fronts from the Jets trying to stop the run. And sometimes it just comes down to execution. And the Browns executed perfectly on this touchdown for Kareem Hunt. Well, execution is going to be paramount on Sunday. It's win and get into the playoffs for the Browns. Head coach Kevin Stefanski will join us to talk about that matchup next on Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy.
The door to a car you've been saving for. The door to a personal loan that feels genuinely personal. The door to a bedroom for each of your teenagers. The door to a new employee who's also your neighbor. And the door to a happy and full life for you and everyone you know. This year, KeyBank has already opened over 170,000 doors, helping people get from where they were to where they wanted to be. KeyBank opens doors.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you may not be able to come to the game this season, our proud partners at Bud Light can always bring a piece of the game to you. Ice cold Bud Light.
I'll take one.
Oh, right here. Bud Light. Ice cold Bud Light.
In 2013, we turned the lights on to FirstEnergy Stadium. Together, we've seen good energy come from powerful runs.
Touchdown, Nick Chubb! He's done it again!
Witnessed electrifying sacks.
Myles Garrett got him!
But the best energy comes from Cleveland Browns fans who truly light up our communities. From our home to your home, no matter where you watch the game, we'll be there bringing good energy to power the best fans in Northeast Ohio.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack. And every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Welcome back to Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. And folks, as they say, it all comes down to this. Head coach Kevin Stefanski joins us again for this week's game preview presented by Ruoff Mortgage. And coach, I remember the first word you said to this team, work, and you have a chance to control your own destiny. They have put in the work. There's still work to be done. You do control your own destiny. This Sunday against the Steelers, it's almost like a Hollywood script was written. And here you are. What's the mood like in the building this week? What's the mood like virtually this week? If you're not able to be in the building, I should say, knowing that it's right here. Everything they work for in their hands and in your hands.
Yeah, I think the guys are excited. I think players and coaches alike are excited about the opportunity. They've earned this opportunity. The players have, like you said, have worked so hard, have put themselves in this position by winning those ball games. To be in a scenario where you win and you're in, and what more could you ask for? But I think they're ultimately, the guys are well aware of the challenge and well aware of, like you mentioned, the work left to be done.
Coach, the Browns have not made the playoffs since 2002. What's the message to the team about how important this moment can be for this franchise?
Yeah, Joe, I'm so respectful of the history, but I also know that we're better served keeping a narrow focus and worrying about this game this week. We can reflect on those things later, but I just think it makes more sense for us and where we are as a team to really focus on a really good Pittsburgh Steelers team coming into our building, a team that we did not play well the last time we played them. So I think the guys understand perfectly that this is a huge challenge. And because it's a huge challenge, it requires us to absolutely play our best football. And obviously, if that's the requirement, we better work real hard this week to put ourselves in position to do so.
Coach, our best fan question powered by FirstEnergy comes this week from Michael in the gym. And he says, how much game planning do you normally do for your opponent's backups? And will you do more this week? We know that Big Ben will not start. It will be Mason Rudolph, and Mike Tomlin hinted there could be others. How do you kind of balance who you're game planning for, who you're studying, et cetera?
Yeah, so you're game planning against the scheme. You're also game planning against players. That's absolutely true. So what we do is we try to understand all their players, and that's where our advanced scouts will take us through in a meeting. We'll take us through every single one of their players, and we'll talk about their strengths, talk about how they use them in their scheme. So it's important that we get to know all of their players. And I told the players this week. And it's important. You got to know your opponent. And then you also got to understand yourself. You got to understand as a team how we win. And so we understand our opponent, respect them, go to school on them. And then at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you're playing the brand of football that you play.
Coach, we appreciate the time. We've appreciated all season. And we know we're going to get a chance to do one more of these with you. Good luck on Sunday against the Steelers. And bring it home. I know that you put in the work. I know how diligent you are, how focused you are, and that this team is. And they've taken on, as Money Mitch said, you have no fluster, and the team has taken on your personality. A great chance to show that this Sunday. Good luck, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, and now it's time for one of the segments that has become oh so popular, Joe's Final Thoughts. Take it away, Joe.
I was probably more upset last week after the Jets game than most of the games that I ever played in and lost during my own career. And I think the reason I was so upset, it had to do more with how much was at stake. But even more than that, I think it was the fact that I had no control over the situation. And when you don't have control over a situation, it really irks at you a little bit more. But you know what the Browns do have control over right now? The Browns have full control over their playoff destiny this weekend against the Steelers. And they know what that path to the Super Bowl looks like. And after that sting of last weekend's game wore off for me personally, I was able to accept this win and get in reality that the Browns are in right now. And I started thinking about the stage being set where all you have to do is you beat your most hated rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, at home in front of your fans. And I started thinking, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Oh, Joe, I don't normally say this on Browns Live, but I will. Let's go. That's right, folks. This is all you've ever wanted. Browns, Steelers, win and get in. As they say, this is the main event. And as Joe said so eloquently, it wouldn't and shouldn't be any other way. This is exactly what you want to prove that it is a new era for your Cleveland Browns. Before we sign off tonight, we want to take a moment to recognize a frontline worker who has made a tremendous impact in their community during the pandemic. This week's hero is Don Bloom, the head custodian at Akron Public Schools. When the pandemic began, Don not only took on the sole responsibility of cleaning the school to make it safe for students and staff, he also volunteered to pass out breakfast and lunch to kids in the neighborhood that needed help when the school was shut down. Don, from all of us at the Browns, we thank you. And we thank you, the best fans in the National Football League, for tuning in to another edition of Browns Live. And we certainly hope, and nay, we believe this will not be the last. So on behalf of our tremendous production team, on behalf of the immortal, illustrious, glorious Joe Thomas, I'm Nathan Zegura saying thanks for watching another edition of Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy.